Yeah, I think no matter what happens in Rizzo's case, that was it for the red and white
Yeah,
holding
I
down the
can't, I
city.
can't, I can't see him holding it. I don't know any kind of glue that's going to hold that puzzle together after this.
Yeah,
It'll be hard to say. I could see him just washing the whole thing out. And
yeah,
just keeping the nomads to roam the whole state. But I could be wrong. But stranger things have happened
for sure.
nowadays. Who knows? Like I was saying, that's how I can see the whole thing getting whittled down to a handful of guys and having to start all over if they can keep it
I mean,
together.
if it's the right guys, you
No, I'm
could
talking
go all the
about the
way
whole
down.
club and the whole club in general, man. It's getting with all the older people getting the boot and just all this crazy shit happening. I could see it getting whittled down to a handful and having to start all over again if they can keep it together. It
I
may
mean,
be a thing of the past in the United States.
if you think about it, just in my mind, Dago still has some legends. That Bay Area as a whole still has a few legends, and there's a
There's a
few on
few
the East
left, but
Coast.
they're definitely on a thin line. They're half of Oakland's OGs are already passed and still going. And it's even though they do got some good leadership there, it's a big room and it's you know
40 guys in the
there's still
clubhouse
some
is
good ones
something.
in there in some places, but it's hard to hold it together that way because along with those old guys goes the old ways of thinking to fight the cops and the FBI and all the DEA bullshit that they throwing at you. A lot of these young guys will bite on that hook.
Yeah. Did you miss going to the runs?
I miss just the riding in general, but that was the best part of it.
For
I
sure.
miss I miss the guys, like Whitey and shit, like the old guys that I got to spend the time with the most. Obi, fucking Cave Dave, all these guys, just hearing them talk about how it was in the beginning, and you used to handle your differences, with them hands, and now it's everybody's so quick to just shoot it up in broad daylight, like it ain't the Wild West, you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of keep that shit behind closed doors, or try to. I mean, I understand it's not always going to be possible because there's always someone stupider than you out there. But
I mean,
at the same time, you got to play it smart.
to play devil's advocate, there was a bomb placed in the Mongol's funeral one time. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
dude,
throw that out
that
there.
might have been OB Dave.
And there might have been like red and white carnations sent to the people in the hospital.
It ain't the first time. You know what I mean? It's those are the legends you hear about. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's been so much bad blood between those two clubs that if all these guys could come together at some point, like they do in Europe and whatnot, and kind of make some outliers and coexist, so you don't have to do this dumb shit anymore. But it'll never happen. There's just too much disrespect that's happened between those two clubs that it's you're dumping whiskey on one guy's grave and pissing on theirs and vice versa. You
Yeah,
can't fix that.
yeah.
You can't fix that.
I was talking to a gentleman from Canada yesterday, I think, or the day before, and he's
Yeah.
in the MC world. I was telling him, yeah, you guys are wild up there. You guys shot a missile into a dude's prison cell trying to get him. When they tried to hit Mabouche.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, that's nothing." He says in
Oh,
Germany they walked into a prison trying to get the president of another charter.
yeah.
Like they broke into prison,
Yeah.
got all the way in.
They bought their way into that joint, bud, and they fucking went right up in there and got the fuck out of the cell. And I
Yeah,
think they only hit dude's wooden leg because he was already missing a leg.
and that's what he said. He said, "How do you get in first of all, and then you drop grenades and you just fire the place up, and the dude lives."
It's so wild over in some of these other countries, but I mean they've landed helicopters in prison yards and flew their boys out before. You know what I mean? Like they just you name it, it's happened.
That's so
And
crazy.
that ain't the first time they used rocket launchers into clubhouses. They did that in the Scandinavian wars. That shit was out of hand.
Right,
It was off the hook.
but this was into a prison cell.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
Yeah. And it's like money corrupts everything. If you got the money, you know, then you can pretty much, you know, rain some terror down,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the especially the Canada Chargers, man. They're just like, those dudes are wild.
Yeah, you know, and it's coming back on them now. You know, they can't even have the clubhouses; they get taken from them, and you know, like you can't, you know, when it comes to a point to where you can't even own anything because the government just comes and takes it from you, just because you're a part of a club or an organization. There's so many different types of clubs and organizations, and none of them fly right. You know, from A to B, even the fucking Boy Scouts, I'm sure, are corrupt as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's, you know, when you can't own anything anymore, they just take everything, your bikes, your cars, your houses. It's fucking loss, bud. Total loss.
They just
Everything for nothing, then, you know, and you know, for why?
they just seized 3 clubhouses in British Columbia, I think,
You know,
like a
and
month ago.
that's just this go around, bud. Last year
Dude,
and the year before that, I mean, they just keep taking them every year, bud.
that's insane.
Yeah. So then you start using the house for one, they're gonna take that too. They're gonna take everybody's houses. They're gonna take, you know, everybody's vehicles, everybody's fucking bank accounts, and then what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nightmare, bro, and it's crazy to sit back and just watch.
It
And
is, you know. It makes you glad that you saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, you know. And you know, everybody's stand up and fight the good fight. Yeah, them motherfuckers don't run out of money, dude. You do. And
yeah,
once you run out of money and shit like that, then you're no good to the club no more, bud. They don't need you. They just
right,
get somebody fresh and take all their shit.
right. Plus, you're on pause. I have somebody that comes in here. He just came off of a Rico, just got out. If he was to go back to the clubhouse, like we were talking, and it's like he's going back to the house he grew up in, but none of the faces are the same, you know?
No, hell no. You don't recognize nobody, and we're, you know, the whole landscape's changed, bud, and nobody's with that business no more. You know what I'm saying? That even if they wanted to be, they don't know how to move like that because they didn't grow up in that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Whitey. My favorite part of talking and spending time with Whitey was listening to the shit that happened in the Midwest when they came around. You know, because we had agreements that we wouldn't go, you know, east of the Mississippi River because that was outlaws territory, and it turned into a shit show, and I mean quick, bud. No, he's telling me shit about it. You know, they were buying $200 beater cars, parking them in underground garages everywhere around town, different sides of town and shit. And you know, 3 or 4 of them were getting one, two or three in the trunk, one driving, take it to another parking garage underground. You know, all of them hop out, 2 different guys get in the trunk of the new car, one guy driving 4 or 5 times, and then they would go do the lick and then ditch the car and burn it out or whatever, you know what I mean? And then have to do the same shit to get home. You know how expensive that is, bud? You know? I
How
mean,
many
it's,
hours?
dude, it take forever. And then if you miss, it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on out there, bud. You know what I mean? And it's like you have to make decisions that are going to affect your life and anyone around you's life in a New York minute, bud. Sometimes, you know, you don't have time to look around you and see what's going on around you before you have to make that decision. So there, you know, fucking it's a rigid lifestyle, bud, and there's no room for errors.
Right now, it's keep your head on a swivel.
Right now, it's just try to watch all the people that are in the club with you. Fuck, you know, take you in the basement and fucking that's it.
Fuck, bro.
God damn, bud. Kids cry for someone who never comes home.
Look what they did in Northern Nevada too. These the feds, boy, they'll come in. They took the house, they took the clubhouse, they took a casino, and they took a cat
They took
house.
it. They took everything from that guy, bud, and set him up, bud. I honestly believe that guy was framed from the beginning because they were trying for years. You make them look bad enough times, bud, they're just gonna do what they got to do. They're gonna make it happen, bud.
Right. Which
Now
is
that guy's got to register and be on that fucking naughty list the rest of his life.
yeah. On that case, yeah, they placed the picture of one of his club brother's daughters in his house or something.
In his cell phone or some shit, I
Yeah.
believe. But he had his laptop in his tactical bus or whatever, the counter surveillance bus that they his mobile transport, you know, that they called the the FBI and ATF labeled the counter surveillance to their shit. You know what I'm saying? And they pulled him over in Wyoming, and then searching the thing for hours, and then take all his shit, and then all of a sudden, Wyoming is where they had their headquarters for those kind of crimes, and all of a sudden all these files are in alphabetical order on dude's laptop.
Right. See, Michael Gallagher must know. He said Dave in Reno, it was the war wagon.
Yeah, dude. They parked the Apache on the back, It was just too much, dude. And you know what it is. The guy had too much money. He had the money to fight the bullshit going on, and they wanted that property from him, bud. They wanted to take his bread and butter. Now hopefully the guy's got shit stacked away somewhere and they didn't get to it. But I mean, look what they did to Pat the Rat Matter over there in Minneapolis. He ran that state for 30 years or some shit, and they cracked him, and then he said, "Fuck it, he's gonna roll." And the feds told him, "Well, if you pay us $500,000, then we won't do this or that, or we won't take the rest of your money." And he paid the fucking money, and they still took his shit. And then he wrote a book with the fucking FBI agent in charge of his case when he got out of prison. I mean, like, I don't know what else, it is what it is, but I mean, all of a sudden you're partnered with the FBI agent when he retires from the force. Yeah, you and him write a book together about your life story and both make out ends on it. You know what I mean?
Everybody asked about Tony Tait too.
Yeah, that dude couldn't even spell Hell's Angels, bud. When he made member, they misspelt it on his patch because he fucking misspelt it when he wrote it. It's wild as fuck, dude. He even got Sonny busted, dude. I think the last bid Sonny had to do was over that bullshit.
Damn. So what are your feelings on Sonny in that phone call?
Yeah, I don't really have any feelings on it because I knew him as a person. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't think he was really that kind of. Yeah. He'd been in the game long enough. He knew what crossing the line was and wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I think that they had the news that his old lady at the time was already working for the feds and whatnot, and that's why he was cutting all ties with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And without trying to anger the situation too much, he was just splitting the sheets with her. And obviously, if somebody working for the feds taking money from him already on the payroll, then she had carte blanche. She could do what she wanted. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever heard the phone call. I've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard it, and you wonder what the hell. I mean, He's older, and if they find it in there, it could cost him a life sentence, basically. But
yeah, I heard, like, right after that, Richmond had kicked a member out, a 45-year member out for calling the cops on his old lady. They said Richmond don't go for that shit. You know what I'm saying? In the OM. After that had just happened before with Sonny, you know what I'm saying? So the dude had 2 strikes. He called the cops on his old lady because she was flipping out, and he didn't want to obviously get a life term over this bullshit or whatever it was, if she lied on the phone or something. So he just said, "Hey, my old lady's drunk," or whatever, and so they told him, "You can either quit or we're gonna kick you out." So he had to roll it up.
Damn, bro.
And he was a good fucking member too, but he's definitely, it was just one of them things. I don't know.
I get it. Calling the cops is calling
one
the cops.
person can and one person can't. That's what I say about the carte blanche. You know what I mean? It's like it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and in the end, it costed you a lot too. What do you think of the George tapes? I sent those to you, right? Or you sent those to me, maybe.
Yeah. I think George was using his guys as pawn pieces. He was sending them upriver to keep his own ass out of situations, and he was having, eating lunch with the chief of police every day downtown, trying to be that guy. Who does that? I don't know. I ain't with that shit. And he just, a lot of good people. In some of those tapes, you could just hear him too, just like dry snitching the fuck out of people, and it was ugly.
Yeah, that's
a lot of good people. Medina sit there saying, "You know how many good people you can drop the hammer on?" And he's just like, yeah, yeah, this is a problem. You know what I mean? You're not getting out of this one, bud.
Well, you were there when they came in and they started looking at bikes and bike frames, and they were looking for a certain bike.
It was somebody else's, and somebody else sold it to someone else, and his kid ended up with it, and Georgie bought that bike to help out another brother, and then he's just sending a dude in another charter downriver, and the parts belong to some guy missing in Arizona and shit like that.
That's a rough one, bro, because he's trying to save his kid or whatever, but man, you just tied somebody into a missing person.
Dead body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They knew the dude was it was foul play. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of that everywhere. Like I said, you can't even trust the people wearing your own patch. It's wild. It's just when it's like that, you don't need a patch to get after it like that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. If there ain't gonna be no rules, then there ain't gonna be no rules, bud.
Still, even with George though, he was afforded the, hey, bring your stuff in.
Yeah, that was a thing too. Hey, you're a 40-year member. You got a week to bring all your shit in, and then you get one little box, and people are like, "Hey, where's the thing I gave him? Hey, where's the thing I gave him?" Like, that's putting the people that are still around in a bad situation. I already knew the dude was writing a book, and he needed an ending for that book. But
Right.
it wasn't gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Hey, dude, you're putting me in a bad situation here. We need your shit." So then we get his shit, and it's like his old Betty's, and everything was torn in half. Like, nobody wanted to wear that's bad luck to put on someone that gets the boot to put on their shit, and nobody wanted to wear that shit. We just need to account for it so we know where it is.
Right.
It was getting burnt in the backyard regardless.
I wouldn't want to be in your position.
Yeah, neither did I. You know what I mean? Because I didn't stir that shit up, but that was all shit that he fucking did over 40 years of his bullshit. You know what I mean? You got to ride that fucking beef, homie. You just bone out and leave everything for the people that are still there to clean up. Fuck that, man.
Yeah, giving up that bike frame. When you look at it as a whole, and you're like, yeah, he definitely said, hey, this dude gave that to my son.
Yeah, he definitely just gave it up, is what he did, and that's what he was doing to a lot of people over there. A lot of people went to prison because he didn't want to do it. He would just sell one or two people down the road at a time. And you can deny it all you want, and you could say that ain't what was happening, but that's what was happening, homie. Come on now, nobody's that lucky. And when Medina was in there telling, like, just straight dropped it on him, and he was like, yeah, and you could still find those recordings on YouTube, bud.
Yeah, they're still out there.
You know what I mean? They're just airing him the fuck out, and he's just giving it all away right there, bud, like full send.
It's hard. It's hard when you hear these dudes who are like, I mean, nobody's bigger than the club, but fuck, these dudes are up there, and then you hear this stuff and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, I'll tell you what, dude. And you can only account for yourself, and myself, I wasn't with it no more. I'm not gonna be your pawn, but I want to raise my kids myself. I don't want to sit there and watch some other dude doing it. I'm doing it myself.
Right.
I don't care. You ain't, that brother word is reserved for motherfuckers that deserve it, and they're unfortunately there just ain't nobody. There ain't too many of that around anymore, and the smart ones are living a free life for real now.
Yeah, and there's a few of you out there.
Yeah, I ain't gonna give my money and my hard work away for a knife in the back. Every time you turn your back, you get a knife in it. Fuck that, man.
It didn't used to be like that.
No, it didn't. Like I said, what happened to the days when it was, if I got 500, you got half. Now it's, if I got 500, I want it all, and I'm gonna stick this knife in your back, dude, and you can ride the beef too. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like I said, they forced the hand to a lot of these people, because a lot of good dudes out there just getting wrecked and fucked over.
Yeah, a lot. and I keep coming back to John, bro. John, I have never heard anybody say anything bad about John. Everybody loved John.
Good dude, bud. Good dude. I had some good times with that dude. I'll never, and like I said, selfishly keep those times in my own head, because those are, the good times. That dude was a good time, but he was fun as fuck. But that dude could ride too.
Even to the point though, Rusty too. Rusty, by all accounts, everybody says, "Oh, Rusty had, he drank."
Yeah, Rusty was funny though, dude. When he was wild as fuck, dude. Fucking him and fuck him up, Chuck, bud. Just going back and forth all fucking night, but it was great. Just good. I mean, that's just fun in itself, is watching them two can go back and forth and fucking with each other. It's good times,
Yeah, but that's when everybody was still getting wild and still.
Yeah. Now that those guys are old and they don't probably can't get out much or do much anymore. But fuck, dude, it was funny as fuck, dude. Like one time, them two were out fucking partying and drinking, and one of them threw up, and I think Rusty threw up, and fuck him up. Chuck goes, "Oh, Rusty," and reached down and got a piece of the fucking meat out of his throw up and threw it in his mouth. You can't waste that. It's like, fucking, they were wild, bud.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude. Just can make it. He's just throwing up more now, Dropped it into second, bud, and lost the whole fucking second, Yeah.
Man.
Good times like that, bud. And fuck him up, Chuck, wandering around the parties at 3 a.m. Fucking Rusty! Where the fucking Rusty? Where the fuck you? Like, goddamn, bud. Dudes just don't stop. Yeah, it was good times, bud.
It's
there used to be, they used to have stories that Fuck 'em Up Chuck told online, but you can't find them anymore. But about the days when he was in the war and shit, that dude was a fucking machine in the war, bud.
Man.
He was he fought for our country, bud, and it's veterans like that teach you the skills you need to survive in there. You know what I mean? And the more of them that are gone, the more these new guys just don't have that kind of leadership.
In Laughlin, there was a member. Was it you that was telling me they had him on the gurney?
Oh yeah, Jay from the Nomads, man. The cops just dumped him off the gurney out in the parking lot, bud, and took the gurney inside for someone else and just let him die right there. But I used to have all the tapes, man. I had all the tapes, and I got raided, and the cops took those from me and never gave those back. I had all the CDs from the video footage of that whole Laughlin shit, bud. You could see when the ATF came in and took over the cameras, and that shit was just rehearsed. Like they knew what they were doing, bud. The ATF set that whole shit up.
Well, they dumped him off the gurney for another dude though.
Yeah, probably for one of their undercovers, But you could just watch homeboy die right there in the videos. I watched the whole thing on video, but you see him just dying right there. He was already shot and probably couldn't be saved, but still, he was just the cops, the ambulance drivers were like trying to load dude in the back of the ambulance. The buzzkills came over there and just grabbed that motherfucker from him, dumped him on the ground, like didn't lower it or nothing, just dumped him off onto the floor and made them dudes go with them inside to grab someone else.
And that someone else was wearing.
We're going in, It was way out, bud. Way out shit like that. And that, and you see on that video where that fucking dumbass cop from Vegas is like, the member was digging in that guy's chest trying to find the bullet because he didn't want him to die with the enemy's bullet in him. The motherfucker got shot, bud. He stuck his fingers in the holes like you're supposed to keep him from bleeding out, bud. He was trying to save him.
Right.
And, one dude was plugging the holes while the other one was giving him fucking CPR, bud. It didn't have to do with the bullet. Come on, bud. It was a cop's bullet anyways, so fuck you.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard. Is dumb shit like that.
That's the kind of shit that they play out to the public to put that bad persona in your fucking, these are bad guys. The cops didn't set them up. They did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Mongols at the time had a bunch of dudes that were undercover and they're coordinating this whole thing with their peoples. The whole thing was set up from the start, man. The minute I got there, the whole thing just was a bad vibe, but you just knew shit was gonna go south at any time, and it felt like that all the way until it happened. Dude, we got escorted out of town when we left. And I mean, they followed us for miles. We rode out of there in one big train, bud, and it was just not a fucking good ride, bud. Through that creepy ass desert with helicopters and fucking all the cops, you know, at a distance, just surrounding you at every stop, you know, taking pictures and just, and it was wild, bud.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah, that whole thing was just way out, bud.
Jethro, that's another one of those crazy.
Yeah, dude. That was another one too, bud. Jethro's a good fucking dude, bud.
Yeah.
Good
Nobody
motherfucker.
will say anything else on him either.
Never, bud. That was a good fucking dude, man. Just that's all I got to say about that whole thing. Broke my heart right there, but I got nothing to say about that whole subject. But that was a good motherfucking guy right there.
Man.
One of the best.
Somebody asked if you ever rode with Terry the Tramp.
I love Terry the Tramp, but if Terry the Tramp had it his way, he would have been the only Hell's Angels there was. Terry from the Nomads. He was an original SFE member. Yeah, that dude was a savage.
You ever meet Chuck Zito?
Oh yeah, yeah. Chuck's another one, but that dude's a legend, bud. That nobody does it cooler than Chuck.
The more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.